The president's going to make an announcement today about Iraq. What is your sense about what needs to be done there, and especially being in such a fluid situation?
First, it's important to remind people why this matters. This has nothing to do with rebuilding Iraq or trying to make Iraq be the kind of country we want it to be. This is a direct issue regarding the national security of the United States. September 11, 2001 occurred because al-Qaeda was able to find a safe haven in Afghanistan provided to them by the Taliban and use that safe haven as a place to train, raise money, and prepare a plot that they carried out and killed thousands of people here in our homeland. So we can never allow this sort of safe haven to exist anywhere in the world again. You fast forward to 2014 and this group ISIS, which is an al-Qaeda linked group, that's in fact broken ranks with al-Qaeda because they're even more radical than al-Qaeda is, as hard as it is to imagine that. This group is now trying to create an Islamic caliphate, a safe haven, from which they can carry out their long-term plans of terrorizing the United States by attacking us here in the U.S. and then ultimately going after Israel once they've driven us from the region. And so I think we have to do anything and everything we can to prevent that from happening. Now, and I don't think the president should be ruling out any options, even if there are some he never intends to use. And in my mind, the first step that needs to be taken is we have to cut off those supply lines that they are using from Syria that's allowing them to bring all these foreign fighters. These aren't even Iraqis. These are foreign fighters, including hundreds from Europe and the United States who have poured in there to help ISIS do what they're doing. We've got to cut off that supply line as step number one.
What about the counter argument that would say, look, this is a religious war, if you will. It's been going on forever, and to look like we're even choosing sides would be bad for the United States.
Part of this is a Shia-Sunni conflict, and of course we're not in there to referee a Shia-Sunni conflict. The reason why we would get involved is not because we want to see Sunnis beat Shia or Shia beat Sunni. The reason why we want to get involved is because the group that's taking over more and more territory in Iraq is a terrorist group, ISIS, that has a very clear goal, a stated goal, of establishing an Islamic caliphate, of using that territory, that radical Islamic state, to terrorize Americans here in the U.S. and then ultimately to destroy Israel. We have to nip that in the bud before that problem gets worse. That's why we would be involved, not because we want to choose sides in a sectarian conflict.
There are folks last question on this, there are folks within the Republican Party, senators, congressmen, who see a major concern about doing anything or going over there at all. You know, I know Rand Paul's been outspoken, others. I mean, what do you make of this divide, if you will? And there is somewhat of a foreign policy divide as to what should happen in the future, and kind of what would Reagan do, if you will?
Well, I don't know about what Reagan would do. Certainly, I think it's dangerous to extrapolate a 2014 issue on someone who governed the country and did so very well 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago. But I will say this, they're wrong. We're going to have to deal with ISIS. And I think the choice for us is not whether we're going to have to deal with them. The choice is, do we deal with them now while they're still kind of scattered, or do we deal with them in 10 years or 5 years when they control a piece of land, they have their own country, and they use it to plan and carry out attacks that kill Americans here and around the world? We're in a very similar position to where we were in 1998 or 1999 when President Clinton had an opportunity to target al-Qaeda and failed to do so.
Just want to understand, when you say they're wrong, you're talking about people that say we shouldn't be doing anything, whether it be senators, congressmen, whoever it is.
I think anyone who believes that by ignoring this problem it will leave us alone is misguided.